can you unmute Christopher Bono?
All right. Mr. Christopher, please unmute your mic and go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Yes, good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Thanks, Mr. Facilitator, for the wonderful lecture so far. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. You're welcome.
Okay. Well, it's not that I don't really understand that much, just that the last phase of the lecture, the morning lecture, that spoke about management processes and gave various categories and all stuff like that. I didn't really get that clearly.
Okay.
I don't know if you can recap it before.
All right. Thank you so much. Definitely we will recap it. So if you can see from my screen, I'm already in project planning. So we are going to rework that again so that we can all get the understanding.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, could there be another question or concern? Any comments? Please feel free to ask. Let's so that we can be on the same page. Okay, please, can someone go to the chat room and help us put an information there, I mean on WhatsApp, so that they could know that the class has started? So can someone please help us? If you're in the PNP chat room, please help us post the information there so that they will be all aware. Okay. Okay, so it's looking like we don't really have much questions, so I just go straight to the class and proceed. So I'm seeing another hand.
Yes, there's another hand from Chizo.
Okay, please go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chizo, go ahead, please. Unmute your mic and go ahead.
Okay, are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I would like you to touch a little bit about the review gates.
The what?
Review, project review, as at the point where you are talking about reviews.
Okay, I will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we still have review in front, so we'll deal with it. Please, I would like to remind us in this class that this is a professional training class, so it's not like the academic work. What it simply means is that to some of us, it could be something new we are learning, while to some of us, we are just updating what we already know. And what that means is that the class should be participatory and involving. There are experiences you've had that where you find them relevant, please feel free to share with the class. And also, those of us that this could be the new thing we are learning, let's also feel free to learn from the experiences. There are two categories of people in this class. We have the associate, who are those that are just coming into the project management field newly, and those that are already in the field, those are the lead project managers who have garnered experience, and perhaps they are just here to find knowledge that can help them arrange their knowledge very well. So that's very, very important. Let's feel free to share our experiences. It's an interactive class, not a dictation and writing section, all right? The important thing also I would like us to know, being a professional environment, there are also opportunities that come with it. Opportunity to network, opportunity to meet new people, opportunity to sell yourself. I'm definite that those of us that are still in the associate level, you could hear some people tell you they are director from so government and director from so this provides a platform that we can sell ourselves. There are quite a number of people here who are also looking for employees or partners. So feel free to introduce yourself appropriately. Feel free to share to share your profile, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, please. You can share those handles so that we can all get to relate and communicate better. In the last class, that was in May, we were discussing something like this. By the end of the class, we had quite a number of people, especially those directors that gave their emails as, okay, if you need a job in so please feel free to write to us. By about 2 weeks ago, we had a company that the CEO, a company sent about 14 of their staff, including their CEO. They were in this project management class. And at the end of the whole process, the company recruited additionally 5 people from the class. So I'm definite that professional networking has its own opportunities. All right, it has its own opportunities. So let's feel free to share our profiles, feel free to network, and that could help us in a very great way. Okay, for those of us that are entrepreneurs looking for business opportunities, why not tell us about your business in the chat room and tell us how we can all network. Okay, so it is important we maximize this opportunity. All right. Thank you so much. Please, this person that is saying that the timetable sent to him or her was reading 10 a.m. You were using a timetable that was modified. We sent a timetable, PDF timetable. If you don't have that timetable, then you don't have a timetable. And we need to learn to pay attention to our emails, please. Pay attention to WhatsApp group. We share information that will help us, but so many of us don't get to pay attention to the emails. We don't get to pay attention. Even when we sent the brochure, we still sent a text message that if you check your email, but a number of us don't pay attention to that. So please, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, get to be in the WhatsApp group. If you're not paying attention to your email, please pay attention to your email, all right? Okay, so thank you so much. So we were talking about the 5 process groups in the morning before we went on break. And I said when we come back, we will go back to them and then try to ensure that we understand them as to practically how they are used in the project environment. Okay. So we say we have 5 process groups in project management. We have the initiating process group, just as the name is, initiate. We have the planning process group. We have the executing process group. We have the monitoring and control process group, and then we have the closing process group. And each of them have their own each of them have their own work that they do. In the initiation focuses on defining and authorizing the project or a phase. So in the initiation, we take time to develop the business case, identify the project that need to be done, develop the business case, do the necessary feasibility studies, come up with the vision and the economic realities around the project, and then go to appointing teams and creating the necessary offices, and then all of that in the initiation. Then the planning phase is now to create the individual plans that will help in the achievement of the project goal or the project objective. Then we'll have the executing phase, which is the carrying out the project, carrying out the project that is, or carrying out the activities that are being stated in the project plan. Okay. Then the monitor and control is to actually ensure that the project goes according to plan. And also, like I said earlier today, the monitor and control is an iterative process. Okay, it's an iterative process. So from initiation to closure, you have monitor and control going on. All right, so when you come up with an idea or come up with a project that you want to do, The monitoring control helps you to be sure that that's the most feasible project you need to be carrying out at that moment. You go to planning, it ensures that the strategies, the plans you have drawn out will become the most relevant to the project you're drawing. Then to execution is also ensures that what is planned does not deviate from what is being done. All right. And in the same way it goes to closure, it ensures that what was promised in the quality requirement gets to be what is being delivered to the project stakeholder. So from initiation to delivery or closure, they all work hand in hand. Now, I said something in the morning, and I would like to repeat it here. Please, in project management, if you really want to do this course, please don't come late to any class. Don't come late to any class. And ensure that you don't miss classes. That's if you're sure that you really want to do this. If you are not sure that that's really what you want to do, you can join the class anytime, any day. But there's something I will tell you. For any time you miss, even if it's a sentence in project management, it could mean you not even understanding the other things that will be said after the sentence. So that's why project management is a sequentially arranged body of knowledge. So from one step to another step to another. It's not like other courses that you can teach A separately and it will be understood and applied. You can teach B separately and it can be understood and applied. No, project management is a bundle, okay? It's a bundle and they all work interrelatedly. They all work as an interlink, just like what I'm trying to say now. From initiation to closure, you cannot do closure alone without initiation. You cannot initiate without planning. You cannot plan without it. So all of them work as bundle. When we get to the knowledge areas, we just find out the same thing too, because you find out that the management processes or the outputs that you get in one particular management process gets to become an input in the next management process. So by the time you missed the first one and you're coming and they are now telling you inputs, the question is, how did you generate the inputs? And that could mean a whole lot of difference in understanding the whole course. Like I said earlier today, over 90% of people that drop out of this course is because they come to a point that they don't even understand what is happening again. And if you check those people dropping, they come to classes late, they skip classes, and when they come, they want you to explain from beginning to the end, and it doesn't work that way. Okay, so let's pay attention and let's try as much as we can to be on time. After this class is just few weeks, okay? After that, you have your whole life to live, and the benefit of this class will continue to speak for you afterwards. Okay, so let's try to do this and do it very well, all right? So that the day you go to your organization and they ask you, ask you a question as to what you know, you will not tell them that that particular day they were teaching this course, your network went off and came back. Before it came back, they've already passed this side. Okay, just imagine how your MD will look at you. All right, so these process groups, like I said, they all work interrelatedly. So if you see the chain of operation there, from initiation, you go to planning, from planning, you go to execution, execution to project closure. Then the monitoring control is like the wheel that is rolling them or powering them to work, right? So if you now miss how initiation is done and you now come to planning, you'll be like, what are they really saying? Where are they getting all these things from? Or perhaps you miss initiation, you miss planning, and then you are now in project execution. It will just be sounding like one magic to you. Meanwhile, it's not magical. In most of my classes, I always receive this statement from people. They will tell you that project management is very technical. Project management is very difficult. Project management is very hard. All of those people that keep saying those things, check them. They come to class late. When they come to class, they don't even pay attention in class. They're always distracted. Okay. And when they go home, they don't check the slides that they bought, which is not good. All right. So let's pay attention. Oh, my slide is static. Uh-oh. It's static and I never knew it was moving from here. Okay, so if it's changing now, please let me know that it's changing. Is it changing now? Please, if the slide is changing, if you can see process groups, please let me type 1 in the chat room. If you can see process groups, just type 1 in the chat room. If you can see process groups, just type 1 in the chat room. Okay, thank you so much. So that means we are on point now. Sorry, I never knew it was not moving. Okay, so I said we have 5 processes or 5 process group. We have plan, initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, and closure. And I said all of these 5 things, they work hand in hand. No one works and leave the other behind. It's like a chain of activities that they work hand in hand. All right. And I try to exemplify that with this diagram there. Okay, where initiation comes first, planning goes second, monitoring and evaluation, project closure. They have monitoring and control that serves as a wheel to drive all of them. And then the same diagram we have here is what is exemplified on this linear diagram. Okay. Then I also explained process interactions. How does management processes interact? Essentially, you have what we call input, tools and techniques, and output. The input has to do with the documents and documentable items that will be accepted upon. And then tools and techniques has to do with the mechanisms applied to the inputs to create the output. Then the outputs are documents or documentable items that are the results of the process. So in the process interaction, we are going to always see these 3 things: input, tools and techniques, and output. Maybe by then you understand it more. For instance, you want to write a letter. So there is a task called writing of letter. What are the inputs? The inputs will involve your brain work. It will involve skills, technical writing skills, and all of that. What will be the tools and technique? The tools and technique, paper will be involved, BIC will be involved, maybe envelope will be involved. What will be the output? The output will be a well-structured letter at the end of the day. So that's the same thing we are going to be looking at in the project management processes and how they interact. Okay, the interactions that play in project management processes. Then I came to now talking about these individual processes or individual process groups. What is contained in each of them and how do they work? Project initiation starts with identifying a business problem or an opportunity. Project initiation starts with identifying a business problem or opportunity. Then after that, you go on to develop a business case. From developing a business case, you develop a feasibility study or you undertake a feasibility study. Then establish your terms of reference, then go on to appointing your teams, set up your project management office, and then perform a phase or process review. Okay, so let's look at each of these things and what they mean. Okay, let's look at each of them and what they mean. For business case, a business case represents an optimum means of information used to judge whether the project is and remains desirable and achievable, and therefore worthwhile investing in. Now, a business case, please, I want you to look at what is contained in a business case. A business case is a detailed definition of the problem or opportunity. That's one. An analysis of the potential solution options available. For each option, the potential benefits, costs, risks, and issues that will be documented. Then we now choose what the preferred solution will be. So a business case is approved by the project sponsor and required funding will be allocated to proceed with the project after it must have been approved. All right. So a business case gives us the justification of whether we should embark on a project or not. A business case gives us a justification as to whether we should embark on a project or not. All right. So that is very, very important. Now, what are the key philosophies driving business case? A business case must drive the project. If there is no satisfactory business case, then there will be no project. It must be maintained throughout the project. Should justification for business need disappear during the project, stop the project. Okay. To perform feasibility study, the purpose of the study is to assess the likelihood that a particular solution option will achieve the benefits outlined in the business case. That's why we are carrying out feasibility study. The purpose is to assess the likelihood that a particular solution option will achieve the benefits outlined in the business case. To investigate whether the forecasted costs are achievable, risks are acceptable, and or any likely issues are avoidable. Note, after the solution has been agreed, funding allocated, and feasibility study performed, then we can say a project is formed. Then what then is terms of reference? The terms of reference, or what we also call charter, defines the vision of the project, the objectives of a project, the scope of the project, the deliverable expected from the project, and the organizational structure, and also the business case that the project is set to address. Okay, the business case that the project is set to address. So let's assume, for instance, you are into banking. Let's take banking as a case, and a particular company comes to you and presents a proposal to you on developing a software that can help you in customer service. Customers don't need to come to bank before they deposit and all of that. Gives you all of that. That is a project proposal, right? But from the internal dimension, you actually have to find out for yourself. One, is that really a problem? Like customer service, what they are proposing to do in customer service, is it really a problem? Customers being able to deposit, withdraw without having to come to bank. Maybe customers having ease of business and all of that. If that is a problem that you think will present an opportunity to your organization, then you can then go ahead to justify the business case. The business case will now be, what are the benefits of this particular project? If the benefits are will I say the benefits are good enough to indulge in the project, then you can contract the firm to start up what they say they will do. Basically, they will have to give you some demos and prototypes for you to test and then find out whether it is true or not. So the terms of reference will now be the vision of the project. Why are we installing this project? What are the objectives of this project? What is the scope? What is the expected deliverable? What is the organizational structure? And what's the business case? That will drive the charter. And that charter, in essence, will become a sort of blueprint that when the project team are no longer following the terms of reference, you can call their attention. Okay, so let's assume that the project was to help customer service, and all of a sudden the project is now involving what can I use there as a case? Okay, maybe it's now involving how to crack into the company's customer database. That one is deviation. You're helping the customer, say you want to help them crack into the bank's customer base. That is obviously out of the whole scope. Or maybe there is something else coming up. There is no longer as part of the scope. You call the attention to it. All right. So the project charter serves as a term of reference. It serves as a guide to keep the project team on track. Then appointing a project team, once the terms of reference has been produced and the project manager is appointed, he or she documents a detailed job description for each project role and appoints a human resource to each role based on his or relevant skills and experience. We can also go ahead and set up the project management office, which is a virtual, which could be a virtual or physical environment within which the project team could be based. Of course, the COVID-19 had given us more of remote working opportunities rather than working physically. But now we are gradually coming to the office again. But a lot of organizations are still working remotely, okay? Because it's reducing cost for them, it's helping them deliver quite easily without stress. And it's allowing the workers to have quality work-life balance and all of that. A successful project office consists of location, which could be physical or virtual, communications, documentations, and tools. And all of the examples of these things is amplified on the slide shown. All right. Now, performing a phase review is the last thing that you should be doing on each of the phases. After each process group activities, will perform a phase review. So initiation is a phase, or initiation is a sub-project of a main project, or we could say is a milestone of a main project. So what then do we do in phase review? Someone asked a question about phase review. Phase review is just to check whether what is on ground is equal to what was planned or what was expected. So if A was initially the project scope definition, and at the end of the day we'll have B, by review we find out that A and B, they are not the same. So that could mean making recommendations and then putting up some rework. But if A was the thing that was initiated, and at the end of the whole process we got A, we don't need to, the performance review we will do there is, okay, A is equal to A, then we accept and proceed to the next phase, approve for the next phase. But where the initial expectation is now different from the final expectation, then that review will call for a rework. Okay, that review will call for a rework. So before we move from project initiation to project planning, there must be a review to ensure that the project initiation achieved its purpose. Okay. At the end of the initiation phase, a phase review, that's a monitoring or control activity, is performed to check or ensure that this project stage or phase has accomplished its project objective successfully. All right. So the essence of review is to ensure that the objective is achieved successfully. Then we'll come to project planning, which has to do with a detailed planning to ensure that the activities in the execution phase of the project are properly sequenced, resourced, executed, and controlled. It is a means of defining and refining objectives and selecting the best of the alternative courses of action to attain the project objective that the project was undertaking to address. All right. And it's important to note that brainstorming is a key tool in project planning. Now, what do we do in project planning? What are the activities involved in project planning? So activity number one, we have creating the project plan. Now, from creating the project plan, which is going to be more of the scope, activities that need to be done, or the activities that need to be done. Then we'll go to resourcing the plan. Then we'll go to financing the plan. Then we'll go to defining the quality of the product that we want, which has already been defined in the plan. Then we'll also try to find out the risk involved in the plan. Let me ask a question. Please, is there anybody here who is doing HSC class? You're doing the two classes together. You're doing PMP and HSC together. Is there, please, if you're doing such, can you just type 1 in the chat room? Let me see you. If you are doing two classes at once, you're doing HSC and you're also doing this class. Is anyone like that? Okay, so I see Jamil, you're doing two classes at, okay. All right, now I will want to say something here. I said something when we started the introductory class to project management last week. Project manager is a 360-degree manager. And I'm going to use this to show you what I mean now. Now, look at this thing we have here. Just one person, he is going to be, or is going to have good knowledge of how to resource and plan project resourcing, right? And anyone that can do good work in project resourcing can actually do good work in business resourcing. Now, this person is going to be very good with finances, accounting, costing, and all of that, budgeting. Is going to be very good with it. This person is going to be very good with quality management. I'm just talking about one person called the project manager. Now, this person is going to be very good with risk management, which is where safety is very key in project inclusions. Okay. Then this person is also going to know how to draft proposals, negotiations as to what is going to be accepted and what is not going to be accepted. Just one person. This person also must have very good knowledge of how communication should work. Okay, then this same person should have very good knowledge of how purchasing and supply should work. That's procurement. This same person should also have a very good knowledge of how customer relations, stakeholder management should work. Just this one person. Now, if you look at the work of a project manager from creating a project plan to supplier contractor management, you find that he is already all in one in an organization. So if you say a project manager, only him is the organization. Because if you look at his work, he has already covered all the departments in the organization. And that's why a project manager doesn't have a specific office. Today, he can work with customer relations and do a very good work. Tomorrow, he work with finance. Next tomorrow, he work. So that's where we said, while introducing this course, that organizations are looking for project managers, people who are ready to take up challenges, and those challenges to them become opportunities rather than time to murmur. Now, if you take, for instance, a human resource manager and you try to get a human resource manager to do all of this, you are trying to create trouble, because there are some things that doesn't concern him here in the human resource environment. Or you now pick which other person, or pick an accountant and then ask him to do the work of all of this. You are trying to create a bias in his mind, okay, because he is specific to one area. But a project manager is a 360-degree manager. And I said something in the first class, a project manager doesn't know how to say no, no option, or no way out. A project manager must always have a way out in every corporate situation. Your brain must be working 24/7. Okay. And that's why when you take a class on project management, like we're doing, you don't just stop here. You go for further trainings. Go, if you want to really master project management, go and take other courses. Take courses in human resources, take courses in finance, take courses in accounting, just take courses as relating to help you do your work effectively as a project manager. Okay, so it's important we understand the jurisdiction that project manager operates from. Okay, we understand the background, the scope of his activities within the organization. All right, so all of these are going to be carried out in the project planning phase. And because of time, please permit me, I may have to run a little faster because my time, again, 1 hour is gone already. I don't really understand this time. Time is gone already. So developing a project plan, I've dealt with this in the first session. Will it be okay if I ask us to read up these stages? Just read them up in the manual. I think we've somehow identified all of this in the first class. So please, when you get your manual, or for those of us that already have our manuals, just go through them. They are simple sentences that are understandable. But should you not be able to understand them, why not? You can always call our attention. All right. So where we actually stopped in the first class was this communications plan. So here you identify, I said first to identify who the stakeholders are, and then how each of the stakeholders should be informed, right? Then identify the types of information to be distributed to them, the methods of distributing information to stakeholders, then the frequency of information and the responsibility of each person in the project team for distributing information regularly to stakeholders. Then on the procurement basis, we'll look at the detailed descriptions of the products to be procured and the services to be procured, and from the suppliers also. So we'll look at project, it also provides a project justification for procuring each product externally and not internally from team members. Then provide a schedule for procurement, and also provide the process of selection of a preferred supplier, which is the tender process. And also identifies the process for actual order and the delivery of the procured product, or procurement, which is the procurement process. Now, there is another important thing I will say here, so that we don't misunderstand ourselves. As a project manager, as you advance in your project management career, you find out that your work will become more of supervisory, and that's where the lead project managers come to play. All right, your work will become more of supervisory rather than technical. Your work becomes more strategic rather than operational. Okay, your work becomes what? More strategic and more on the supervisory leadership basis rather than the technical basis. So you can actually provide a guide on how products could be developed, markets could be penetrated, products could be launched, and all of that. All right. Now, in the tendering process, what do we see? The identification of interested suppliers and selecting a preferred supplier to meet the procurement needs. Suppliers are appointed and contracted through a tender process involving creating a statement of work, a request for information from each potential supplier, choosing a preferred supplier, agreeing on a supplier contract for the delivery of the requisite products. Then after you might have done all that is involved in planning, you also conduct a phase review, which will move you from planning phase to execution phase. And in the execution phase, it involved the coordinating of people and other resources to carry out the project plan, characterized by physical construction of each deliverable by the project team and presentation to customer for acceptance, and monitoring and controlling of activities, resources, and expenditure required throughout the execution phase to ensure that customers' requirements are met. Now, in project management, we have 10 knowledge areas. These 10 knowledge areas make up the execution processes in project management. So we have risk management, schedule management, quality, scope, integration, resource, procurement, communication, cost, and stakeholder. These are the 10 knowledge areas involved in project management. According to the Project Management Book of Knowledge, 6th edition, these are the 10 knowledge areas. Now, these 10 knowledge areas are actually going to help in building deliverables or moving project from initiations to building deliverables. All right. So that's what these 9 or perhaps 10 processes are going to help us do. All right. In building deliverables, it requires physical construction of each deliverable by project team. Note, the actual activities undertaken to construct each deliverable will vary depending on the type of project. Example, engineering, building development, computer infrastructure, business processes, or event. Everyone will have their own different construct. And please note that the word construction here is generic. It's not as though it's for a particular field. It's a generic. So it's a generic word, which in this case means it could mean building a deliverable, producing a deliverable, servicing a deliverable, generating a deliverable, or what have you. Monitoring and control. While the project team are physically producing each deliverable, the project manager implements a series of management processes grouped as knowledge areas to monitor and control the activities being undertaken. They include time management, risk management, cost management, quality management, communication management, procurement management, integration management, scope management, human resource management, stakeholder management, and all of them they were listed in here. Now, project objectives are met by monitoring and measuring progress regularly to identify variances from plan so that corrective actions can be taken when necessary. Monitoring activities will include integrated change control, quality control, scope change control, cost control, schedule control, performance reporting, and others. Now, to move from execution to closure, we need to also perform another phase review. Okay, and what we're reviewing now is to ensure that the activities that were created in the plan are done as when due and done properly to give the result which we will see in the closed project phase. Now, in the closed project phase, what we typically do there is to formalize acceptance of the project or phase and bring it to an orderly end. A successful project will have met its objective and be ready for formal closure only when deliverables have all been completed and accepted by the project customer, or when it is clear and established that the objectives or deliverables cannot be met, then we can close the project. Also, before we close the project, we also have to perform a phase review, moving the project from closure to completion. There's a difference between closure and completion in this case. Closure is when you are handing over, you believe that you're done and you want to hand over your project deliverable to the project owner. Completion is when the project owner has accepted it and all papers have been signed, all maintenance checks have been carried out. Yes, it has been signed, due done. Then we can say completion has been done. To perform closure, it involves a series of activities undertaken by the project manager, which involve assessing whether the project completion criteria has been met, identifying any outstanding items like activities, risks, issues, or resources, producing a handover plan and schedule to transfer to the customer, communicating closure to all stakeholders and interested parties, listing the activities required to hand over documentation, cancel supplier contracts, and release project resources to the business. Note, these activities make up the project closure report or the project closure document, which is submitted to the customer and or project sponsor for approval. Reviewing project completion will involve review of the overall success of the project by an independent resource auditor. So this success is determined by how well the project performed against the defined objectives and conformed to the management process outlined in the planning phase. Note, the project is closed only when all activities identified in the closure report have been completed. To determine performance in this case, the following questions are asked. Did the result in the benefits defined? Did it result in the benefits defined in the business case? Did it achieve the objectives outlined in the terms of reference? Did it operate within the scope of the terms of reference? Did the deliverable meet the criteria defined in the quality plan? Was it delivered within the schedule outlined in the project plan? Was it delivered within financial plan? Now, to determine conformance, a review is undertaken of the level of conformity of the project activities to the management processes outlined in the quality plan. Note, results of the review, key achievements, and lessons learned are documented in a post-implementation report and presented to the project sponsor for approval. Now, in quick summary, project management is the application of skills, tools, and techniques and management processes. The constraint of projects are time, scope, budget, risk, quality, and others. Project management has 5 process groups, which involve initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and closure. Project management has 10 knowledge areas. Please, that's a mistake there. See 9 and 10. It's 10 knowledge areas which involve time management or schedule management, risk management, cost management, quality management, communication management, procurement, integration, scope, human resources or resource management, and then we'll have stakeholder management. A project is closed only when all the deliverables have been completed and accepted by the stakeholder. All right. So I think this is where we will call it a day on this second lecture. Thank you so much. I know there is questions coming, but for the sake of time, we'll just have 10 minutes. Please, can we postpone the questions? Can we write down the questions and postpone them to the next class by, is it, the next class is supposed to be in the evening? Please, let's kindly move our questions to the next class in the evening, and that will help us. Our next class is meant to be by, sorry, just a moment.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, concerning the announcements, should I make the announcements?
Okay, I think we'll move the announcement to the next class because of time.
All right.
Thank you so much. Okay, so please, let's move our questions to the next. If you've not assigned attendance, please, let's kindly push the attendance, and then we'll be exiting this class to meet in the next session. The next class will be by 6 p.m. today, 6 p.m. So we have all the time to rest. 6 p.m. we'll reconvene, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we'll reconvene. All right, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we'll reconvene. So please, if you've not signed your attendance, let's quickly take the attendance right now, and then we could go have our rest. How many of us here are not in the, what do you call it? You're not in the WhatsApp group. Please, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, let's see your hand up. Sorry, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, let's see your indication in the chat room. Kindly type 1 in the chat room so that we can see you. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please type 1 in the chat room so that we can see you. Okay. Okay, so for those of us that are not in the WhatsApp group, Mr. Thompson has already shared the WhatsApp link. So please, let's get to join the WhatsApp group. And all of this information we've been asking of, they already shared in the WhatsApp group. So let's get to be in the WhatsApp group so that we can get all of that. Then also attendance has been shared. You will see attendance, PMP attendance. So kindly take the attendance. I'm sharing it as many times as possible. So in case you leave and come back. All right, please, we'll take the questions in the evening session. Evening session will have about 3 hours to spend. So we can take all the questions in the evening session. Thank you so much. Please, Mr. Thompson, can we close this class now?
Yes, we can, sir.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. All right. Please, everyone, have a nice day. Till 6
All right.
p.m.
See you by 6 p.m. Thank you.